Hey guys, this is the Lucid podcast. Today we're going to be talking about disturbing movies, horror movies, and possibly movies that aren't really just meant to be disturbing or be horror movies, and kind of just the way they go about things is kind of disgusting, and kind of our opinions on these and why we think they're kind of objectively bad and just scummy. I was thinking maybe I could say a couple movies first that come to mind when I think disturbing movies that at least I've seen. Honestly, when I think of disturbing movies that I have seen, Train Spotting is kind of one, but even that, I wouldn't really call it like disturbing necessarily.
I've never seen that.
It's a pretty good representation of like drug use, and you know. So that's actually one of those that I would say is done all right. Like it's
Yeah,
done with
I
that
mean,
person, and it's kind of. And what brought this on was I was reading the synopsis for Eraserhead because I saw a meme about it and was like, what the fuck is this? And I started reading it, and something about it just struck me where I didn't feel right after reading the synopsis of it.
no, yeah, I was reading about it too, and it sounds like a weird. I saw a clip from it too. It looks pretty weird. Apparently, like the movie doesn't explain much. Like shit just happens, but I don't really know. I've never seen the movie. It's super old, so can't really speak on it.
From what I've seen, it's highly you get what you get from it type of movie. What's the right word for it? Subjective, you know.
Yeah. Well, what was it about? So people know.
What is it? So basically, what it's about is a guy that has a kid, and the mother leaves because the kid is basically a dinosaur-looking thing.
Yeah, that's such a it's such a out there concept. I don't know.
And I guess it's kind of uh, low key about just how hard parenting can be, and maybe that's why when I was reading into it, it just kind of struck me and made me feel sick to my stomach, because even if you really love your kids, sometimes they will be frustrated and get on your nerves, whether it be crying or just the fact that they need so much attention. And not to say I feel like any human being is bound to get on your nerves, and I'm sure I get on my daughter's nerves all the fucking time.
Yeah, I mean.
So you can't really blame a baby for crying. They're a baby, they need you. You ultimately, this is kind of how I see it with children, and why a movie like that would kind of bother me. Children, they don't ask to be brought into this world. So if you're irresponsible enough to bring a child into this world and not be prepared to give that child all of your care and affection, then you are a piece of shit. You have to do an act to make a child. It's not, you can't just fall over and fucking make a child. It's literally impossible. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, any kind of media that deals with kids, I don't know, it always comes off as kind of tasteless, but not always, but sometimes. But
anytime it's the exploitation of children, it's fucking tasteless.
Yeah, it is, definitely is.
There's such a small margin that you can make something that would be, I don't know, not disgusting if you do something like that.
I don't know, it's just you can make so many other things, and that's what you make. That's how I see it. It's why did you make that?
If you're making something just to kind of show the harsh reality and kind of maybe
you can do it that I don't know. I feel like you can do it a different way.
Then I would say, but I can't think of a single fucking movie that like makes a point of saying, you know, this stuff actually happens. It's disgusting, you know. Like you have to like, and you know, kind of like trying to say, like, we have to fucking do something about it. I can't think of any movie that's like that. So
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I don't know. Like, it makes it seem like it's just a shock value movie, or not always movie. Shock value video, commercial, fucking whatever it is. It makes it seem like you just want reactions and that's it. When that may not be the case, but that's what it feels like most of the time.
yeah, I mean, like so I only disturbing movies that I know. I just know the names of them and kind of like the synopsis. And pretty much the reason is because of just like watching YouTube, most disturbing movies and shit like that, and just like people, you know, like the whole what the fuck is it, iceberg meme,
Yeah.
where like if I see a movie like the title of it, I might search and look on Wikipedia. The chance of me watching any of those is zero. Like,
Oh yeah.
I have really no interest in
There's some fucked movies. Before we did this, I was looking up. I couldn't remember the names of all the movies I was thinking about, but I wrote them down now. Some of these movies people make are literally tasteless. Like there's, in my opinion, there's this one movie in particular that really got to me. It's about this autistic boy who goes camping, and I don't remember if he was completely by himself or like his parents walked away or something, but there's this group of teenagers that just torture this autistic boy for the whole movie. And it's maybe not the whole movie, but a good portion of the movie. The movie's called Cruel Summer. Have you heard of that?
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, well,
It's relatively new.
I think last 10 years. So it's not new, but it's not that old.
Or
What? You cut out.
was it a major movie or?
I don't think so. I think it's a little obscure. And it's just something about that really just is fucked to me. Like just torturing an autistic boy for like however long, however many minutes. It's just like, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It comes off to me as like torturing a kid, like cuz he's not like a young kid. He's like, I don't know how old he is, but he's like a teenager, I guess. And he just fucking torturing this person. It's just like comes off to me as kind of tasteless, I think.
Goes along with the name, I guess.
Yeah. Just like a mentally challenged person who's like, I don't know. That just doesn't come off right to me.
I think I don't know. Here's how I see it is maybe if you have severe problems, I could understand maybe you writing a movie like that just to like try and get the fucked up thoughts out of your head rather than, you know, like just
And
holding
acting on them, I guess.
But I don't know about going out of your way to make a whole ass movie and like production and putting money into it and like, you know, I don't know. I'm sure some people will find fucking entertainment in it. I don't see how it's entertaining. But, you know, people listen to true crime, love it. Which, like, even, we could even segue in, like, I've listened to, like, a couple true crime things, like, kind of, like, just, like, biopics on people just because, you know, yeah, I guess if a tagline's interesting, I'll be like, all right. Like, there was, like, a 6'9" serial killer, and he was, like, a genius. And, like, it was interesting enough, like, hearing about his life, and his life's actually pretty fucking rough. So, like, it, you know, it gives you a little insight as to a little bit more why they did what they did. Even though there's not really an excuse for doing it.
Of course.
But I wouldn't necessarily call it entertainment. Like, it's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It is interesting, but it's not like you're not entertained necessarily. So
Yeah,
I get that.
I literally don't. I don't get through them. Like I'll just listen to it for a little bit, and then eventually I'll be like,
Yeah.
well, this is fucked. And there's a couple of them, and some things it's just like, I don't know. I
There-
guess what it comes down to is context. Like, if somebody has has an actual reason why they do something, and like it's clear and you can tell, like clear and concise, I feel like the likelihood of me listening and not being disgusted and being like, you know, I guess it depends on whether the person is deserving of empathy or not. Kind
Yeah.
of.
Well,
What?
yeah. And if we're talking about like in a fictional sense, I know you're talking about real people, but
Yeah.
in like a fictional
Well,
what?
but
You're breaking up.
I said it could go either way, but I
Oh
am,
yeah.
real situations, but
Yeah, yeah. But in like fictional things, I feel like it has to have some sort of meaning or something you take away from it that it doesn't have to be, I guess, necessarily a positive thing, but some sort of meaning to you experiencing something so awful. You know what I mean? So, but when a movie is just a movie or whatever it is just fucked the whole movie, and then that's it. There's nothing. You don't take away anything from it besides horrible images. It's like, what is the point? What is the point of this existing? Like,
that even goes with horror movies like Saw and stuff, like snuff type of shit. Like,
yeah, I
you know,
don't like that shit. But I
there's
saw people like to see the traps though, at least sometimes. So I mean, I can see some sort of entertainment coming from that, I guess. If you're like you're not squeamish to gore, and you just like to see like the traps they're put in. So I can kind of understand Saw to a degree.
yeah, I hate those movies. I think they're
I do
utter.
too. I do too. I think Saw's garbage, but I
Even
can
like
somewhat get behind it.
VR shit like that. All those or VHS or whatever the fuck. All that shit's like kind of trash. Like,
Yeah. There was this movie that I couldn't find I did find the name of it now, but I couldn't remember. But it's called 120 Days of something. I'd have to look. I have to look
did
into it, but I wrote down.
is it
Y-
Salo?
I don't think so.
100 Days of Sodomy or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah, I've read like the Wikipedia about it. Dude, I mean like shit like that. Like there's
It's absolutely just fucked with no meaning behind it.
like that. I think it's a French movie.
Yeah, I don't know, but to explain what it is, let me clarify. I haven't seen this movie. I've just seen clips about it, clips from it, and heard about this movie on on YouTube and stuff. But it's
That's about I understand it too, but it is one of those that just reading about it and like hearing what people say about it, like I know the fucking name of it. So I mean,
yeah,
I think that goes to say that it's pretty
it's
pretty.
awful, dude. It's about like not two. It's a few like adolescent boys and girls, and they literally just get tortured mentally, sexually, and every other way you can imagine for the entire movie. And it's like it's just a disgusting movie from what I hear. Like
Yeah,
there's some like it's a snuff film, not literally a snuff film, but it's one of those like kind of like Saw. There's pedophilia shit in it.
yeah,
It's just
director
horrible.
arrested for that one. I'm pretty sure, and served like serious jail time. I could
You
be
said
wrong.
they did get arrested, or they should have?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the director got arrested for that.
I mean, I can't say I
Yeah,
can't say I feel bad for him. It's like that's just an awful movie.
the only movie that people consider one of the worst of all time, like one of the most disturbing, disgusting, vile things that I've seen. Like I haven't seen it, but I've seen like a fair amount of clips on it, and a fair amount is Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I wouldn't say that that's like. I would say it's kind of fucked morally, just because they took advantage of a tribe, like a bunch of tribes people, and that's the way that those people really live. So like you kind of taking advantage of like how they live, and like kind of dehumanizing them. I mean, it goes down to context. If you come from a culture where it's like a tribal thing, and you're like warring tribes, and you have it's connected to maybe religion, a very unique religion and shit like that. I wouldn't look at that and be like, these people are disgusting, not human. That's just the way they live.
Yeah.
But don't exploit that. Like, I understand where people are like, that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
That they exploited. But I don't necessarily think and the fact that he killed animals.
Yeah, like I remember hearing about he decapitated a turtle and apparently it was real. Like it wasn't CGI or practical effects. He actually did that. And it's just like, how do you not get in trouble for that? Like, what is up with that?
Look, here's how I could also say that too. If you look at nature is a horrifying thing. Like, you could say that we're at the top of the food chain, and anything that's in our path, it has the potential to not be alive much longer. People kill animals all the time. People kill animals for sport. People do this. I don't think context really fucking matters in that situation, because all you're doing is trying to say, well, look, people literally kill fucking lions, and people do get pissed about that and bitch about it. So, I guess, but I don't really see it as when, I think he killed a jaguar and a leopard too. I was like, whatever.
I don't know if were those real too, or was it just the?
Yeah, he killed that.
So he did. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you shouldn't be able to do that just for a film, like.
Yeah, I mean, there is context with the two.
Because people do it, of course, but that's a film.
I mean, you went into its environment, so I guess you could argue, well, you shouldn't have went there. But between me not feeling safe and a jaguar being there, if I feel like eliminating that presence, I mean, I wouldn't kill a jaguar. I'd probably try and avoid it.
Oh, for sure.
But he didn't see it that way. I mean, I'm not. I guess it sounds like I'm defending the movie. I'm not defending the movie. I'm just saying, compared to all of them, I didn't think that one is as bad as.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
look.
I don't think it's as bad.
You're talking about PP and rape and different horrible things. Those are all in no context or any of those entertaining or nice or you can't defend those. Going and showing a tribe of people, I mean, but they're all exploitive and exploitive, in their own way. So I don't know. I mean, there's a reason that they're considered disturbing movies, and people consider them vile. And that guy went to jail as well.
Yeah, I remember it was like this big thing that the effects were so good for the time that they literally thought he killed people. They thought he killed actual people to actual actors to get the footage, but the actors came forward and were like, "No, obviously I'm not dead."
Yeah, he didn't, did he? And I guess the tribes people were let in on it and were made to understand that it's a movie, and obviously, and I'm assuming that means that they agreed to do it.
Well, was the tribe real? I didn't, because
I'm not sure if they were just people from South America
I thought they were just actors, but I don't know.
Tribe was just actors?
I think they were.
Oh, well.
But I don't know. I could be wrong.
That was fucked was kill animals then.
Yeah. I don't like that at all. I don't like that they literally killed animals for a movie. That just doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, pretty tame compared to the other ones, though.
It is, yeah, it definitely is.
I mean, I think horror in general, it just most time puts a bad taste in my mouth. I don't really like and let me tell you one thing, right? So let's talk about something like Midsummer, which I've never seen it. You actually were explaining it to me.
Yeah, I like that movie actually.
I hate shit like that, and I hate shit that goes in because putting paranormal stuff and kind of like occult stuff and all that, and kind of like left path way of thinking, and then making it constantly negative and constantly like uh skewed as evil, and like people that like are involved in it are always villains and just like negativity and just like, you know, demented and just like horrible. Like, I think it's fucked up and unfair.
Yeah, I get that.
Because
People who delve into that sort of stuff aren't always, obviously, they're not always evil, crazy cult people.
no,
You
I'd
know?
say there's a lot of people that do that, and it's just like anything. If you're someone who's you know, a neo-pagan or something like that, the chance of you being a good person and doing what you do is because you believe in it, and maybe it's what your ancestors believed in, which, like, you know, I think it's kind of necessary. I'm not necessarily one to consider myself like a pagan, or, you know, I'm open to any. I'm just open to learn about people's beliefs, and I don't necessarily have like a propensity to say, well, this is exactly what I believe. My beliefs change, you know, but I understand that there's good people and bad people no matter what you do. So,
Yeah.
of taking a whole like a whole way of thinking and just calling it like evil when it's not, like, it's something
Well,
I
they're
don't.
not being like, they're not like specifically calling out any one belief. It's a fictional
Most
belief.
because anything that's like not the Catholic viewpoint is pretty much like considered, it's like condemned, like low key.
Yeah, it kind of is.
I mean, look at all the
If it's
paranormal,
different, it's wrong, kind of.
because just as an example, um, look at The Conjuring and shit like that, and look at just kind of demons and culture and angels and culture, and like there's plenty of people that talk to different entities, and I think they would objectively say, like, none of these things are like, even just in a broad sense, something that's at a higher plane of existence than us. I don't think necessarily you could even call it evil. Like, and that just make it like a force of like evil, when I don't think they would even necessarily fall into those concepts.
Well,
You know?
yeah, but
I
it's
don't.
a easy thing to make people be fearful of, which is why they do it. If something's beyond your comprehension, then that's pretty fucking scary, whether they're like evil or not. So that's why they do it. They just use it.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I do think it's kind of like somewhat dishonest. It's kind of like what I was getting at, I guess.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying too.
Just horror movies in general. That's kind of like the vibe they give off, and it's I. So let me preface this by saying this: we've kind of, and I think you'll agree after I say, we have been conditioned to essentially look at stuff like that and just think of it so negatively
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
So let's say, you know, you have a kid, right? Your kid's like 7 or 8, and is talking to imaginary friends, and they're not really imaginary friends, and your kid is never in any harm. Your kid is not like, and what they're talking to, you find out, like, you know, later is a fucking entity that someone would call a demon, and they never did anything to the kid. Like, the kid considered them a friend and like talked and learned from them. And then when the kid gets older, they're gonna be scared to be like, "What was I doing?" You know what I mean? And it's like it's
Yeah.
all like, it's a primal fear, and it's not necessarily even because of what it is. It's because it's so deeply ingrained. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
and I'm even like, it's something that I deal with, and like I'm interested in being open minded and like trying to, you know, say, And I can admit that it's been so deeply ingrained in me that, the paranormal is something that I am fucking, like, I'm very interested in, but at the same time, when it gets real, I am terrified of.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm the same way. Yeah, interested, but also very scared of it.
I think you should be cautious and afraid of. You should be cautious of things, but I don't necessarily think afraid. Yeah,
Yeah, not of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you should
you
respect them.
really,
If you want respect, you have to give respect back. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing that you could look at it. And I just don't think horror movies really. Sometimes it's about overcoming fears, but a lot of times this is an ancient mystic evil and it's negative, and nothing about it can be positive, and all it wants to do is hurt.
yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I just kind of disagree with that. It's a
Are you? So you mean like
so
demons and stuff? Like,
yeah, like Poltergeist, just anything that's
oh
like
yeah,
like The Conjuring, Insidious, shit like that. Like, it kind of Insidious is a good example.
yeah,
That
because those are just they're just spirits, right? Like,
So
Yeah,
they don't have to necessarily be evil, but it's
well,
it's fucking
the astral
the
project
conjuring.
naturally, which like, and then he was basically forced to forget about it because he was programmed to be like, that shit's wrong. Which it took it to say that the red faced dude is like was trying to steal his body or steal his son's body and all that shit, and just like different, so like, which like I don't know. I'm not an expert on the topic, but I do think you never see any movies about topics like that aren't horror movies that give it like a
that is true. Yeah,
perspective of them not of like it not being negative, and like
yeah, that's very true.
I don't necessarily like I don't know. I just think it's kind of unfair.
Well, honestly, I think The Conjuring handled it very well. Because the ghost in The Conjuring, wasn't he wasn't bad. He was just the evil in the movie was the demon Valak, which was bad. She was just straight up evil. No ifs ands or buts. She was evil, but which by definition, yeah, demons aren't necessarily evil. So you could get on it for that. But the spirit in the movie, he wasn't bad. He was doing what the demon told him to do because the demon like threatened him or something like that. So it wasn't all bad, all negative, but
Yeah,
you
and I
know,
mean we use these words. I don't know, like if it's really a good representation of what things are, and I don't know. I just
yeah,
like that's one thing I never liked about horror movies is just like the constant like negativity, and there's just obviously that's the point of it, but like there's very few things in this world that are black and white. I don't
well,
see anything that
yeah,
complex would just be 100% just fucking out to wreck you. Like I just don't I
yeah,
understand why that would be the case. Like even bad people aren't always fucking bad. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
why would something else just always be bad? You know what I mean? Like to me,
yeah. That's not that's not I guess realistic would be the word. I thought the Babadook did it like very well actually. I thought the Babadook did it pretty well because the Babadook represented like your pain and your grief, stress, all those negative feelings. And you had to at the end of the movie, she was feeding the Babadook, which kind of was like you have to come to terms with these. You can't get rid of them, and you're gonna be scared of them, but you have to kind of accept it and move on. And I thought that was brilliant.
that was actually a good movie, and it kind of did. It kind of implied the thing isn't necessarily like what you call evil. It just kind of like
Yeah,
I could understand things feed on different emotions. Like I think that's more realistic. You saying something trying to get under your skin to basically bring the worst out of you. I can understand that, and
yeah.
there's a couple movies that are like that. I can't really think of them off the top of my head, but even kind of like a movie like Little Monsters. Have you ever seen that?
No, but I think I've heard the name, but no, I haven't seen that.
Horror movie. It's a kids movie, but kind of like it's like the monsters under your bed are real, and they basically just do shit in someone's house and basically just like fuck with their house, and then the kids get blamed for it, and all the time kids are getting in trouble, and it's shit that they didn't do, and it's like I could see shit just being If you look at folklore, a lot of things are just kind of mischievous and kind of like dickish, but
Yeah,
things are like completely evil. Like a lot of
yeah,
things are mischievous, and if you cross them the wrong way, and you better be prepared to fucking essentially like be at odds with it, and but most things are just kind of mischievous, and most things will help you, like even if you ask, most things will help you, like, and that goes with a lot of different folklore that it's kind of old,
yeah,
about spirit, like house spirits, different shit like that, like
yeah, right. Yeah, those. I mean, all that stuff goes way back. They're usually the ones that are the quote unquote evil, that where there's nothing redeeming about them. They're usually urban legends that people don't don't believe as heavily as the ones that are not as evil. So for example, uh like the slit mouth woman from Japan. I think that's Japan. I might be thinking of a different Asian country, but um or like what is her name? La Llorona uh from Mexico, I think. Those are just like they want nothing but to do harm to people pretty much. So I don't know those, but people don't normally believe those really. So at least not nowadays. Maybe way back, maybe, but nowadays people kind of believe in the less disturbing, legends and stuff like that.
yeah, I would say like this: if I had to if someone asked me and I had to describe it, I'd say I think of a good way to put it. I kind of said it earlier, but most things, if you give them respect, you show them respect and decency, most things will return the favor. Whether it be,
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I mean that's how life is. That's how we are. So why? I mean those entities wouldn't. I mean I wouldn't know, but I
yeah,
feel like they wouldn't be much different.
from what I see, it's like if you ask for help and kind of like I said, you treat them with decency, and it's like there's kind of um, an understanding, or you at least try and build for an understanding. The chances of them helping you is probably pretty good, because it's like anything. If a dog's attacking you, you're probably gonna kick it. But if a dog comes up to you non-hostile and non-aggressive and wants you to pet it, chances of you petting it are pretty good. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Like, I think that's kind of a pretty easy way to understand it. Like, it's not that hard. I don't think it's that ridiculous thing.
Yeah, but that's I don't know. Since movies are the way they are, uh, people don't think that way. They just don't, and there's nothing we can do to change that. But besides make movies that are better, but
I think it's understandable too that horror movies are meant to be how they are meant to be. I just
they could
kind
be
of
better though.
uh,
They could deliver a better message. Like they could. There's a lot of areas they could improve upon.
yeah. So let me think of a couple of horror movies that I do like. There's not really many horror movies I like that I can think of, honestly. And what's funny is like how we started it. Disturbing movies. A lot of those movies aren't necessarily even horror movies. Like, they're just disgusting.
yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're actually not horror movies. I think that's how you know it's bad, when a movie's not necessarily even trying to scare you and it's still repulsive. I think that's how you know a movie's really bad. Bad as in like revolting.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's kind of like, so we kind of talked about David Lynch. I've only seen a couple of his movies, and for the most part, I think he's like all right.
What has he made? I don't know him.
He made Eraserhead.
Oh.
I'm
Okay.
trying to think of some other movies that he made. Fuck. I'm gonna look him up real quick. What movies he made? Sorry. He made The Elephant Man, which I don't know if you've seen that.
No,
That's
I've never heard of that.
that's about the guy that was deformed really
Yeah.
bad. So that's kind of like a sad movie. I don't necessarily think that would be The Blue Velvet. I've heard of that, and I'm pretty sure that's kind of like a weird ass movie. And there's the only two. So like when I was looking up Eraserhead, there was like a little list of other movies that are similar, and I had never heard of them, so I clicked on them, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, was there some weird movies there?
Yeah, there was. I had never heard of any of them. Let's see if I can find that shit.
Probably because they're old. Because Eraserhead is pretty old.
Yeah, 1970s. I'm trying to see where the fuck that was. Sorry, it'll take a second. So okay, so Night of the Living Dead, which is like that, and for like its time, it was probably consider it like fucked up, but that's like a classic zombie movie.
Yeah.
I had never heard of, and it just seems like a western maybe. So I don't really know. See, I'm looking at the controversy. There's a rape scene, so that's
Oh boy.
is fucked. There was one called Pink Flamingos, which I
I've
clicked
heard of that. What is that about? I don't remember.
Apparently, it's fucked.
Yeah, I heard that movie was like disgusting.
It's on the promotional film, like on the thing, it says in exercise and poor taste. So I was nudity, profanity, and pursuit of frivolity, scatology, sensationalism. Just basically a bunch of fucked up stuff. Like I don't really
Yeah.
want to what the fuck it was all about.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to know either.
Yeah, it's basically just nasty. Which I guess it's not like the worst thing. A movie called The Harder They Come, which I have no clue what it's fucking about.
I've never heard of that.
I guess it's about a Jamaican guy, and I I guess the legacy. I guess all these movies. The Rocky Horror Picture Show was the last one, which like that's kind of like a cult classic at this point. And I mean, even that's a weird fucking movie. Like I think we can all agree that's a weird movie, and it's probably along the same vein. I guess it's along the same vein as that type of shit, except that one's a little more tame. You know what I mean?
What movie is that?
Rocky Horror Picture Show,
I've never seen that.
which I've seen it maybe twice, and people like get into it and fucking love it. Like I saw it where people like dress up and shit like that, and it was like a screening of it, and I'd never seen it, and it was like a play and they watched the movie. It was pretty fucking weird, but I don't know. I don't really remember what it is. I just remember Tim Curry is in it, and he's a transvestite, which like
Yeah.
it is kind of funny seeing the guy who's like let me just say this. Tim Curry is a great fucking actor. I don't know how someone could play Nigel Thornberry, It the Clown, a random ass transvestite, and like all these other fucking movies. It's like
I forgot he was Pennywise.
yeah, he's done like every fucking role imaginable. I know it's kind of off topic.
I don't know any of his movies, but yeah, that kind of off topic. But yeah, I don't know
any of his movies besides it.
Well, that's a conversation for today, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess just kind of what like the whole point of this is art
Make
doesn't
your
really-
make a movie that you can take something away from, not just like
Yeah, I mean,
just any random movie.
you can critique anything and say like it's not really art. Like brutality isn't art, and then someone's gonna be like, "Well, it is art." So I mean, this is kind of
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is but to
yeah, of
me,
course, yeah.
if movies like that, serve no purpose, and we already have enough fucked up shit in the world and enough negativity, like, just why spend your time fucking adding to?
Yeah, well, like I said, if you're gonna have like that much like horrible, concepts and things in your movie, make it feel by the end of the movie you should make it feel like it was worth something. Like you got
Yeah,
through that for a reason.
I'm sure there's a bunch of movies that are kind of like cathartic, or at least give you like, even if the taste that it leaves in your mouth is bad, like you said, at least have it lead to something. At least
Yeah, at least.
have a fucking, and you could argue, well, just because you're making a movie doesn't mean that it doesn't have to have a point. And you know what? That's true. But guess what? Most movies that don't have any fucking point,
Are
any
garbage.
any reason, any rhyme or reason, are just absurdist and grotesque to be absurdist and grotesque. How many of those movies are actually done well? Like zero. It's the same thing with like if you watch YouTube videos on list of like weird public access shows and just like weird shit like that, like most of the time it's like it's trash. And the thing is, it's incredibly easy. That's the easiest form of doing something because
Shock
it
value,
takes
basically.
it takes no effort. It takes absolutely no effort.
Yeah, I mean, not really. Besides, I guess a few effects, I guess, but I don't
Like,
know.
go right now and run at a fucking tree and just like stomp the tree out of the ground and like pull it out and like fucking bite it and like spit on it and like fucking break my arm against it, and you're just gonna be like, what the fuck was the point of that? And I'll just be like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I just like, it is fucking pointless. Like, nothing about it's funny. It's incredibly fucking easy to do, but like it's fucking, like, I don't know.
And those movies are literally only talked about because they're disgusting. Like
Yeah,
people don't talk about them because they're good. Like,
yeah, and
so I guess you could say they want that anyway, though. But I
Yeah.
don't know.
that's the thing. People are gonna make something to get a rise out of people, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
I guess that's all they want. They just want like
People
reactions.
feel like it's kind of like the same thing with comedy and like kind of like messing with people. It's one thing to kind of like joke around with somebody and like and joke around with everyone in general and like just kind of make it known like it's a joke, rather than when you do something malicious and you're actively like trying to demean someone, belittle them, and like cause irreversible damage to someone. That's where there's like it's not funny. Like
Yeah.
There's-
Right.
there's a very clear line, and like it's not that hard to steer clear of the wrong side of it. Like you have to actively try and do that.
Yeah. You definitely do. Can't
So
really like do it by accident per se.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just saw the Eraserhead thing and the taste that it put in my mouth just reading it. I don't necessarily. It probably is a decent movie too. Like maybe as far as being kind of an art piece, I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's interesting, and kind of maybe the synopsis was just like something I didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't hear anyone say it was good or bad. I just kind of read about it, so
And
I have no idea.
and you know, it's not something that I would probably find entertainment in watching. So I'm not really considering that something that's like, horror. I'm not comparing it to the other ones. I've never seen it, but the other ones I haven't seen either. But there's enough like testimony from people and people talking about it that I think the judgment formed on it that it is, absolutely pointless, and it would have been better off.
Yeah, I don't know if Eraserhead is in that boat, but they said it was like Pink Flamingo, so I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, I don't.
I really don't know, and I'm not gonna watch it to find out either.
Yeah, I don't really like body horror anyway. I think it's kind of. If I'm watching something, I'm trying to, unwind and forget about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the chances of me wanting to watch something that is going to give me anxiety, make me feel disgust, and make me just like all around feel like garbage. Like I'm not going to watch that.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not going to watch that because I don't see any value to myself dealing with that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I like horror movies, and I don't even like those, so.
In with horror, like, I mean, you can like shit, do what you want, I don't. That's just it's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I would never.
I think
watch
more
that.
people would agree than you think. Like,
No, I think a lot of people would agree because it's kind of I mean, people like horror movies. Some people even like shit like that and enjoy watching filth and stuff like that, which
yeah.
I guess that's what you want to do. No one's gonna stop you.
I think, kind of off topic, but I think games do it a lot better in terms of horror.
Yeah, somewhat.
But also that's interactive, so I guess it naturally would.
Yeah, that's the thing too. But I don't know. You can watch what you want. I personally don't really see the value in it, and I don't know. There are certain horror movies that I watched that I've liked, but a lot of them have more comedic, like horror comedies. There's a couple like movies like that.
I haven't seen too many of those, but I do kind of like those. The ones I have seen.